A report released by a group in Europe says since last year, anti-Christian hate crimes have risen by 44%. The Observatory on Intolerance and Discrimination against Christians in Europe says it has evidence of 748 anti-Christian hate crimes. They allege the incidents took place in 30 countries. The organization also says Christians who express a worldview consistent with their faith have faced legal discrimination. Joining us now from Austria is Anja Hoffmann, Executive Director at the Observatory on Intolerance and Discrimination against Christians in Europe. Anja, good to be with you today. Hate crimes documented by your group increased in 2022. What types of incidents were most prevalent?
Most prevalent are acts of vandalism still, so we don't have as many physical attacks as vandalism of churches. Which is worrying, however, is that also the attacks which take the form of arson attacks rose quite significantly between 2021 and 2022.
Anja, also, I understand that you're also documenting discrimination of Christians for their religious beliefs. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and the forms of persecution?
Yes, we talk about discrimination rather than persecution in terms of the legal discrimination of Christians. But we do see that there's an increasing pressure on Christians in Europe, especially for voicing their religious beliefs in public. We had cases of dismissals from school. There were some teachers who were dismissed for expressing their Christian beliefs. But we also had cases up to court trials where Christians were actually prosecuted or reported to the police for expressing their religious views or similar things. So especially from the UK, we have a number of cases. There were street preachers that got reported to the police on the so-called public order bill, which also criminalizes causing distress. And we believe that this overly broad legislation is really a problem for Christians who express their faith in public.
And Anja, I also understand the Christians who adhere to traditional teachings of the church are the ones who seem to be most targeted against. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, that seems to be what is behind some of this legislation. So we see really a worrying increase of Christians who just face their religious beliefs that are adherent with the traditional teaching of the church, getting into trouble for that. There was one case from Malta that particularly stood out to me. It's a young man who converted to Christianity and shared his testimony publicly on TV. He was then reported to the police, and now there's a court trial going on, which could lead up to 5 months to prison for him. And the background is that he used to be an LGBTI activist. He then converted, and under a new law in Malta, or not even very new, but a more recent law in Malta, he now got prosecuted for apparently propagating a conversion therapy, although he was not even mentioning that. But just his mere conversion and his change of life seemed to be something that, because it's a controversial issue, is now regarded as something that under this anti-discrimination legislation needs to be criminalized.
Well, Anja, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us about this. Really important. We appreciate it. God bless.
Thank you so much.